I don't even know really how to start this video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Des Roulette, and there are a lot of changes in my life. So for those of you who know me or who have watched some of my older videos or you followed me for a little while, you've probably heard me mention a little something about how I lost my job in January after a catastrophic fire. I worked for a manufacturing plant. I worked in the office building, which was on the property of the entire factory acreage. And it was a paper mill. It was a paper factory. So we made paper products. But because of the heat and the paper, occasionally we would have fires. They would be small little fires. However, on this particular evening, January 30th, 2019, all of the fire hydrants were frozen and the wind was incredible. So a small fire turned into a catastrophic fire and spread among almost our entire property, maybe 20 buildings or so that were completely decimated and burnt to nothing. And over 300 people lost their jobs, and I was one of them. So luckily nobody was hurt. It is what it is. I understand I can go through life. I can lose my job at any time, and these things happen. So I started looking for jobs. There just wasn't a lot of things available. Either was overqualified or underqualified for many of the things that I was finding. I did end up finding a job. I actually made a video months and months ago, get ready with me, while I was getting ready for my interview for this job that I have now. However, it's a temporary job. It's not a permanent position with the company. Initially, when I accepted the offer, it was intended to go permanent, and as time went on, the company just didn't have it in the budget to bring me on permanently. So I'm lucky that I am still working there, but I can lose my position at any time. And even with this position, I did have to take a fairly significant pay cut. So my husband was still working. He was working at the same company for almost 19 years, but we did burn through some of our savings while I was compensating for lost wages. Anyway, things are fine. Everything's great. We were making it work. We were paying our bills, paying our mortgage, making ends meet, whatever. Up until this past Friday. So my husband, as I mentioned, who was at his job, the same job loyally for almost 19 years, was laid off unexpectedly and with no severance. We're both on his health insurance, which means as of February 1st, we won't have health insurance, and I have an autoimmune disease that requires daily medication, and I don't know how I'm going to afford my medication and how I'm going to afford doctor's visits. Obviously, we're stressed out just with those simple facts, but the biggest issue and the most major issue on top of all of this is that we can't afford to keep our home. So we are putting our house on the market, and we're going to lose a lot of money, which we understand and we have to accept. The fear is just that we're going to need enough money to facilitate our move to Georgia, where we will be able to sustain ourselves a little bit more realistically in case a situation like this ever were to occur again. Because I've had so much trouble finding a permanent position over this past year, and because my husband now has lost his job within the same year that I lost mine, we decided that we just had to make some very serious life changes. So that's what's happening in my life this week, and I'm pretty sad about it, but it could certainly be worse. It could always be worse. We are not willing to compromise our credit by falling behind on bill payments or house payments, so we have to be really strategic about where our money is going right now. We are still both looking for other positions. Of course, if my husband is able to find a job here in New Jersey, we would stay. Although I feel that the best option for us is to relocate. We do have some family in Georgia. We do love the area. And the bottom line is that it's just literally half the cost to live as what it is here. So I'm excited about new beginnings, but I'm very scared. I'm selling some things that I own. I had to sell my camera today. I sold my camera that I use for YouTube. We have to put a little bit more money into the house before we can even list it, hoping for a potential buyer. Even if we got an offer very quickly, the average amount of time that a house is under contract from attorney review to closing is 45 to 60 days, which we can't do just on my income alone. So we're really just praying for a miracle, as cliche as that statement probably is. I understand anytime a door closes, a window opens. There's always something better coming. I believe that the universe is pushing us toward bigger and better things. I guess I just don't really know how to process everything that's happening, and I'm nervous. I'm very scared. I'm just sad. So that's my update. I was going to do my weight loss update video today, but I don't think that I was in the right state of mind to make that video without talking about this situation first. I also didn't want it to be something like I never mentioned it and then all of a sudden we were in Georgia, and a few months down the line I'm getting questions from people about what happened, and I was really worried about having to kind of re-experience the fear that I'm feeling. So I just wanted to tell you about it now and let you know what's going on. Things aren't bad. It's first world problems, but I never thought that I would have a house. I've moved over 40 times. I grew up with a single mom and siblings and no money, and we moved a lot. We never had a house. We would move kind of from apartment to apartment. We moved across the country in just a moving truck more than once. Made a lot of sacrifices to push forward and to stay positive and, to always see the bright spot in those stressful situations. And it was fine. It worked. I came out of it okay. But, I'm in my 30s now, and when I was in my 20s as well, I never had steady housing. I moved all the time. I worked so many jobs and did everything I could to stay afloat and try to live comfortably. And I was so happy when we bought this house. I was proud of myself. I think that I felt at that time that it was my greatest accomplishment because I never believed that I would have a home. And I'm just really sad that I'm losing it. But it'll be okay. I don't think I've completely processed my emotions about everything that just happened. And even the trauma of my husband's experience with this company after so many years and working with so many people that he loved. It'll be okay. Sometimes you have to destroy to rebuild. But I feel like it's been a long road. So I just gotta pull on my bootstraps. Is that what the saying is? I don't know. I should Google that. Something about bootstraps and basically toughen up and just get out there and do whatever it takes. So I will be doing some landscaping on my house tomorrow to make it look nicer on the outside, which I've never done before. But I'm going to try to make it look as pretty as possible so that somebody else can fall in love with it the way that I did. Anyway, that's it. That's my only update for today. I will be making a weight loss video. For those of you that are still watching this far and for those of you that care, it has been about 2.5 months since my VSG surgery and I've lost 60 pounds. In that arena, things are definitely happening. It's been really difficult. I'm going to talk a lot about that in my video about the challenges that I'm facing. But my little pouch is doing what it's supposed to do. So that is a positive in my life that I'm very, very grateful for. And I'm sure that when I talk about that, it'll be a much happier video in general. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me and giving me a place to share my thoughts and feelings because apparently I have a lot of them right now. I will be back on sunnier days. Thank you.